I have been studying aspects of thought transformation for about a little over 36 years. People say to me, how was it that you got started on this path of study? Well, I didn't set out to be a speaker, although I'm happy to be here sharing this with you today. But I have set out to actually save my own life. I've been on my own since I was 17 years old, and I had no one to mentor me to adulthood. So I started studying folks that were successful. Motivational speakers, success guru, anyone that could help me learn how to be successful in this lifetime. Happiness and success, you know, those things that we all want. So I became fascinated by the concept, change your thoughts, change your life. There were a lot of learned people out there talking about it, but there were no real practical applications. So I went looking for the missing piece. And I found what was that missing piece for me. You see, it's not just change your thoughts, change your life. It's also change your feelings, change your life. It's our thoughts and our feelings creating powerful mental pictures of what we want to create in our lifetime that helps things to move forward. I talk about the power of a personal vision often and what that looks like. Well, I had been studying for about 16 years, and through a series of circumstances 20 years ago, every single thing I had was made to go away. Retirement accounts, savings accounts, investment accounts. I lost my home, and I had a little 4-month-old baby at my side. I found myself a broke, homeless, single mother. Now, for a lot of folks, we'll take in information, and we'll use a little bit of it, but we don't always apply it wholly and fully. So when I sat down and took an inventory of my life, well, yeah, I didn't have this stuff, but I had this information that I believed to be truth. So I set out to apply it wholly and fully. You know, I remember the day when I realized everything was gone. I was in my home, and my little baby girl, Katie, was sleeping. And I went to the refrigerator to get something to eat, and I opened the refrigerator, and the only thing that was left was 1 jar of peanut butter. And I looked at that jar of peanut butter, and I made a decision. See, it's very powerful when you make a decision. And I made a decision that I would never be a victim to life circumstances. Regardless, I would always be victorious. So I took a look at this information that I had gathered, and as I said earlier, I applied it wholly and fully. In a relatively short period of time, I went from broke, homeless, single mother to building a sales team to the top 4% in the world. I went from broke, homeless, single mother to making more money in a month than, well, it's crazy to say. I went from being at my last jar of peanut butter to most places I go, I travel by private jets. I don't say that, honestly, to impress anyone. I say that because I recognize the information that I have, it's teachable. Folks can learn it. Folks can take these principles and concepts and apply them to themselves and create the life that they're meant to have. This created a considerable concern for me with mainstream media. If it's our thoughts and our feelings, if it's the way we view the world, and if we're constantly looking at 24/7 negative news, which happens, I mean, let's take a look at what we've created here in our world. If we're taking a look at that, how is that affecting how we create our outside world? So I had a big concern with that. How can I help folks look for the good stuff? So 10 years ago, I birthed a radio show called Nothing But Good News. I also now publish a magazine by the same name. I wanted one place that folks could find the good stuff so they could learn to stay focused on the good stuff. If you focus on the good stuff, does that mean bad things won't ever happen? I was listening to a TED Talk last week, and someone referred to those bad things as opportunities for growth. Does that mean opportunities for growth will never happen? Absolutely not. But when you can focus on the good stuff, it's so much easier to move through anything that's going on for you. Mother Teresa was once asked if she would go to a war rally, an anti-war rally. And she said no. But if you ask me to go to a peace rally, I will be there. I was researching one of my good news guests, and I was fascinated by his journey and what it was that he had to say. And he traveled the world searching modes of prayer. He had a friend who was a Native American named David, and this good news guest of mine, his name is Greg. And David said, Greg, I'd like you to come with me so I can show you how I pray. So they went out into the desert, and they went to a place that had a medicine wheel, which was just stones in a circle. The wheel itself held no power. It was just a place of focus. So Greg watched David as he took off his shoes and he stepped inside the medicine wheel. He closed his eyes. He placed his hands in front of him in prayer and sat there silently for 10 minutes. He then put his shoes back on, stepped back out of the medicine wheel and said, okay, we're done here, let's go. And Greg said, wait, what did we do? And David said, we prayed rain. Oh, Greg said, we prayed for rain. David said, no, when you pray for something, you are internally admitting and feeling the lack of. And so Greg said, well, what did it look like when you were praying inside your mind? And David said, I closed my eyes and I could feel the rain falling on my face. I could see the mud in the village square. I would take my bare feet and I would squish it in the mud from all the rain. I would see myself walking through chest-high rows of corn because there had been so much rain. And then he said, and had feelings of appreciation and gratitude. You know, it's interesting. I so love this story that last year, for a period of about 6 weeks, every group I spoke to, I shared this story with. And back then, we had a week of very unusually high storms and heavy rains. My team has asked me, please not to share that story, that experience, inside an audience anymore. I did get a phone call yesterday and said, have you been praying rain? I'm just letting you know, no, I have not. But just to let you know. You know what I found is that when you look for the good news, that is what you find. You find the good news. One of my corporate clients, he has a 2 o'clock operations call every single day. I shared that concept with him. And so what he started doing on his operations call, he said, we're going to start with the good news first. Then we'll talk about anything that's going wrong. After a period of merely months, it seemed as though there was no bad news at all. There was and is really no bad news at all, which is really very exciting because what you focus on increases, what you ignore decreases. My good news guests, like I said, it's been 10 years and I have interviewed hundreds of folks. And what I found is the folks who are the happiest and the most successful share 3 qualities. First, they have the ability to go inside their mind's eye and image and feel and see what it's like to create what they want. Secondly, what they do is they have habituated gratitude. They learn how to say thank you for all the great good things in their life and all those good things about to come. And thirdly, they have a much larger sense of themselves. And what does that mean? Those folks not only want to create for themselves, they want to step out and make a difference in the world. How can I serve? How can I help? How can I make this a better place? You know, the good news is this world that we live in, I find, is strangely and wildly accommodating. Your imagination can be a powerful, powerful ally. Albert Einstein says imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited to all that we know and understand, where our imagination embraces everything that we will ever know and ever understand. The good news is in this human experience, we can make it be as amazing as we want it to be. That little 4-month-old baby I talked to you about, my Katie, she's now 20. And she's graduating from college in a week. And she has an extraordinary ability to see the good stuff. She has a favorite quote that she has taken, and she's actually inscribed it on this bracelet that I wear on my right hand. I like this idea better than the mother-daughter tattoo idea. And I'd like to share this quote with you. It says, life is known only by those who have found a way to be comfortable with change and the unknown. Given the nature of life, there may be no security, but only adventure. If my little Katie knows that life can be uncertain, but still see it as an adventure, who will she become? I ask you, who will you become? Here's where I urge you to look for your own good news. This has been Kandee G, and this is just the start of some amazing good news that you're going to hear today. Thank you.